Today in the news, Governor Greg Abbott extends the disaster declaration for the coronavirus, and ex-Dallas cop Amber Guyger appeals her murder conviction in her neighbor Botham Jean's death, and the City of Dallas's hospital capacity report. Today is August 10th, 2020, and this is Dallas Weekly News. Hello, I'm your host, Patrick Washington, and this is Dallas Weekly News. Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Saturday extended a statewide disaster declaration he first issued on March to allow the state to better respond to the coronavirus pandemic. State health officials on Friday reported 474,524 people with the virus and has left at least 8 dead. The true number of cases in Texas is likely higher because many people have not been tested, and studies suggest people can be infected and not feel sick. For most people, the coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms, such as fever and cough, that clear up in 2 to 3 weeks. For some, especially older adults and people with existing health problems, it can cause more severe illnesses, including pneumonia and death. The vast majority of people recover. Attorneys for Amber Guyger, former Dallas police officer, have filed an appeal of her murder conviction in the killing of Botham Jean, her neighbor, inside his home. Amber Guyger is serving a 10-year prison sentence for the September 2018 fatal shooting of Botham Jean. She testified at trial that she mistook his apartment for her own and mistook Jean for an intruder when she entered and shot him. In papers filed Tuesday with the 5th Texas Court of Appeals, her attorneys argue that the evidence presented at her trial last year was legally insufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Guyger committed murder. They argue that Guyger had a reasonable belief that she was in her own apartment and that there was an intruder inside, and that her mistake neglected the culpability of murder because although she intentionally and knowingly caused Jean's death, she had the right to act in deadly force of self-defense. The appeal wants the Dallas-based court to overturn her murder conviction and sentence and order a new trial, or replace it with a conviction for criminally negligent homicide and order a new sentencing hearing. Criminally negligent homicide carries a maximum punishment of 2 years in jail. We'd like to acknowledge our sponsor, James Washington, co-publisher and author of Spiritually Speaking. Spiritually Speaking is a book of his former column syndicated around the country, a journey of spirituality and spiritual enlightening through the Christian faith. The book can be found on Amazon. And now, the Dallas Hospital Capacity Report. This has been Dallas Weekly News. I'm your host, Patrick Washington. You can find these and more stories on dallasweekly.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, as always, if you can, stay home, stay safe, and we will see you again tomorrow.